Hello guys and welcome to another video. For this week I have a little follow-up once again to a community list update I think I've published almost half a year ago. But once again I haven't found the time to make a video about it and publish some more details. The thing is, since I've created the spring geometry upgrade for axis pedals, I also got a little curious about the spring geometry, so the distance from the axis over here down to the point where the spring is moving on other pedals. So I took my eliminators and the iron cobra and did some more experiments, and yeah, the result is that I've created some more aluminum parts that allows the spring mechanism to travel on a larger radius. The theory behind it is that the spring in total works more efficient because the whole system is allowed to travel on a larger radius. So if I move the spring or if I just move the beta angle back and forward, you can see that during the same movement, the same rotation, the spring gets a lot more tension in the system compared to if it would travel on a smaller radius where it has already a pretty tight basic setup, a pretty tight basic tension, and during the movement there's not that much more going on. And the theory behind this larger radius is the same as for the Darwin and the axis upgrade I've published. Is that the whole pedal becomes more progressive and more efficient. So the cool thing is that it allows you to have a medium to low spring setup, a basic setup, but during the movement the spring builds up way more momentum compared to the regular setup without being recognized, because everything is already in the move, so you don't know or you don't feel the extra power that goes into the pedal. But on the other end, when the pedal needs to react and sticks under your foot, it is crazy efficient, and that results in a pretty lightweight feel of the pedal, but it still sticks under your foot. So especially with direct drive and pretty fast and heavy setups, the main problem is that most of the people have to crank down the springs and exchange the springs for some extra heavy versions in order to keep the footboard under the foot. And yeah, with this setup, obviously it's not necessary to crank it down because you get the same movement, the same efficiency with a way lower spring setup, which means that way more force goes into the drum head and you're not working against your drum pedal. Yeah, that's the theory behind it. So what you can see here is the standard spring block from the Tama Iron Cobra or Speed Cobra, and also all the lower models, which are using the same part over here, compared to the part I've machined over here. If you put it side to side, you can see there is a decent difference of the distance between the central axis down to the pivot point on both versions. Also, if you compare the same part from the Pearl Eliminator to the upgraded part I have published, you also can see there's a decent difference, which results in a way more efficient pedal. So that being said, it's like most of the other upgrades I've created for different pedals. It's a tiny little upgrade which makes a huge difference, a huge improvement. And if you're someone who's curious in experimenting with different pedals and different setups, I think it's a pretty cool way to do so. Also, if you're looking for a more progressive feeling pedal and a more efficient pedal, that's also a cool upgrade worth considering. This little thing is already available in my online shop by the time this video comes out. So it's now available for Pearl Eliminators. I'm going to list all different models which are compatible from the point where I'm now, and also for Tama's Iron Cobra, Speed Cobra, Dynasync, and so on. I think they are all using the same part over here. But once again, I'm going to list all the compatible pedals I know and I'm sure about. The little aluminum block comes with all the tools and all the additional parts you need, depending on if it's for Pearl or if it's for Tama. I think that's it one more time for this little upgrade and this little video. If you have any questions, as usual, feel free to write me an email. You'll find more information in the description. If you're curious about what's going on behind the curtains, feel free to join the ACD community list. It's via some sort of weekly newsletter. You'll find a link to sign in your email address on the very first page on my homepage. Until then, have a nice day and see you soon. Cheers!